Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. This is MacDonald Carey, and these are the days of our lives.
With the third pick in the 2014 NBA Draft, the Philadelphia 76ers select Joel Embiid from Yaoundé, Cameroon, and the University of Kansas.
He seems confused. I think Joel knew it was.
Get Joel some coffee.
That's my invitation. That face! That's my invitation, all right? Because it is a soap opera. It is the days of our lives. Because our days of our lives as Philadelphia sports fans, especially Sixers fans, are at the whims of spoiled, entitled, clueless athletes, all right? Spoiled and entitled is the word for Joel Embiid. Time after time after time have we all protected him, stood up for him, defended him, rooted for him for the MVP, campaigns, the whole thing. Fan base that has been whipped and abused, coming back and coming back and coming back to support this team and to support that guy. And then we find out that Tyrese Maxey, God bless his heart, Tyrese Maxey in a team meeting has to get on Joel Embiid for being late to everything. And that's him. That's him. That's why he hasn't won. That's why we haven't won, because of that attitude. He has worst attitude ever. Listen, we've all seen criminals, bad guys, rotten human beings, right? Lazy players, dumb players. I mean, listen, it's part of society, right? Like sports is a microcosm of society. We've seen them all. But Embiid is the worst. Because you know why? Because Embiid is very smart. Because he's very gifted. Because he has every tool except what's inside of him. Like at this point, you need Tyrese Maxey to call you out in front of your team to tell you you're late to everything and that poisons the locker room? That you have made, I don't know, close to $1 billion and you need Tyrese Maxey to tell you to get on time, to be on time? I mean, you want to talk about distorted reality, living in denial. Are you kidding me? That you need Tyrese Maxey to call you out when, oh, you want a chip. I got to get a chip. It's a disgrace. It should be ashamed of all shame. He is really bright. He is an incredible talent. He is. And look, it's a shame that he's Mr. Glass. It's a shame. It really is. And I feel for him in that way. But being late and disinterested in your team is a death knell. That's when I can't support you anymore. That's when I go, I mean, that's a loser mentality. That's why you haven't won. Listen, I roll with the narrative. I was a part of the narrative, right? Like, hey, early in his career, he has a tummy ache because he's playing video games. He's up all night before a playoff game. All right, well, that's the misgivings of youth. I get that. But now, we're talking about being late. We're not talking about practice. We're talking about being late. Think about that for a second. And think about the wins. When you get up to go to work or school every day for your responsibilities, right? You got to worry about your car starting or not starting. You got to set your alarm clock, and you got to go through your day, and you got to do a million menial tasks. You know what Joel Embiid has? Handlers. You know what he has? Everything at his disposal. Drivers, anything you want, he's got at his disposal. He's got everything. And we're talking about him being on time. And if I see that freaking pout face one more time, I'm going to lose it. Because it's always woe is me. Woe is me to $500 million. Woe is me. I'm the star. Treat me like a star. And that's why LeBron James is a winner. That's why, to this day, LeBron James, who spends $1 million on his body every year, is playing at a high level. Listen, injuries are injuries. You can't do anything about it. But being in shape, eating right, you got your whole life ahead of you to go eat Chick-fil-A and do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You got your whole life ahead of you, and you're sitting on a pile of generational wealth. But he's still the same kid. There's a story about Embiid, about his father, who was a general, right? And his father comes back. There were basketball tryouts, and the father sees him on the couch playing video games and goes, "Dude, what did you do? You didn't go to the tryout." It's a legendary story how he got discovered. And he's still the same kid on the couch. He's still the same kid on the couch who blew off tryouts that his father had to make him go and try out and start his career. And I get that. I have kids, and, I was one, and we all know stuff like that. But he hasn't moved from that point. That's the height of embarrassment that you would have Tyrese Maxey have to call him out in that situation. It's the height of embarrassment. It's the height of gall, right? For all the people that have supported you, that organization, you say whatever you want, they've mishandled this, mishandled that. They have bent over backwards for that guy and spent a ton of money for him. They have built a team around them. They have done whatever they could. They have kid gloves, load management, team of doctors. I mean, they've done everything you could. And what is he? Late. That is an unforgivable sin. That, in a nutshell, encapsulates his career. It's sad. And it makes me angry because when you see real athletes, there's some amazing athletes, professional athletes that care to no end. Most of them play football. But when you look at it and you see the work that they put into it, and then you see him and you go, really? You get called out by your teammates? And God bless Tyrese Maxey for doing it. Because maybe this is the only thing that'll shake him, that'll wake him the bleep up, is if you get called out by one of your young players. I mean, that's pretty damn sad. And maybe that's the only thing that will wake him up and jolt him into reality. Because he can cry and moan and pout all he wants, but you ain't going to win, and you're going to go down as a loser. Sad. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, and we're presented by Rite Aid, your neighborhood pharmacy. Go to riteaid.com for all your flu shots and scripts and anything you need around the house. Good morning, my guys. VG, Violations Greg, JP, John Zapata.
They got any depressants at Rite Aid?
Anything
Anger management pills at Rite Aid?
Dude,
is this the most frustrating thing?
I mean, ever.
Like, you knew it was bad. We see the effort, but you're like, maybe it's the knee. Maybe. It's not. It's his heart. It's his mentality. This is his team. You got a bunch of free agents here, a bunch of new people, and Maxey's 24. He's not the leader of this team. It's Embiid, and he's setting the tone with his attitude, and he's late to everything. You got to be kidding me. Fans are shelling out money for this, and he doesn't care. He just doesn't care if he wins or not.
No, you want to talk about the height of self, right? Like, be inside yourself. The height of selfishness, right? Of self-absorbed, being self-absorbed.
Yep.
Like, not understanding, crying about, oh, this one, that one. They're all mean, the media and the fans and social media, blah, 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 blah.
Everything I did for this city.
Oh,
Yeah, let's not forget. What are you? What do you
Frustration,
did?
disappointment.
Pounding his chest, dude.
I mean, that Raptors series, I go, all right, I forgive you. It's the misgivings of youth. Stay up all night. You're drinking ginger ales.
Your Shirley Temples.
Whatever. Your stomach bothers you because you ate 1,000 nuggets. Okay, whatever. Like my son does that.
Yeah.
And he goes, Daddy, my stomach hurts. Well, maybe it was the 80 Chick-fil-A nuggets you ate.
Probably,
right?
yeah.
That could have been it. I get it. But now you're at the age of wisdom and superstardom and, MVP and gold medals and all this stuff, right? That are for the regal of that league. And you're late? Like, that gets me. That gets me.
Of course, it takes no effort to be on time. None.
And by the way, it's not like you or I on time, right?
Yeah.
Like,
he's not walking
every
the
day
dog.
you go, I gotta take kids to school,
Right.
feed them, right? I gotta make that my freaking Jeep that I hate that it starts, right? Like, you gotta worry about this stuff. This dude's got handlers and drivers, and
Exactly.
like you can do whatever, nannies,
Luxury
and people,
life.
right? Like, which is God bless, you earned it, right?
Absolutely.
But why can't you be on time?
It's not that hard, Coach.
Why can't you be with your team? Like, what's the problem? Like, that's where I go, say what you want about a Bryce Harper or a Hurts. Listen, look at Jalen. Like, say whatever you want about Jalen, and I'll go, every day, go, well, he needs to get better here and there. The dude is a worker. Mm-hmm. He's in every day.
Yep.
Like, he's on top of things. They're not saying Jalen Hurts is late, right? He acts like a quarterback. He acts like the face of a team.
Right.
You're Joel Embiid. You're the face of that franchise. It's your franchise. I want to be consulted by the EO. I want to be consulted on moves. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But you're late. And not only, like, listen, whatever it is, the fact that Maxey had to call him out in a team meeting is what is the problem.
That's the thing. How bad is it going?
But I don't know.
Maxey's the nicest guy in the world.
Right.
It's got to be a major issue for
And
Maxey.
by the way,
to have to
he
stand up
loves
and confront
Embiid.
you. Yes.
He loves him. He loves Embiid.
guy.
So the fact that Maxey has to call him out, it must have been a pain in the ass to them.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why they're 2-11, right? And their last hurrah. Like, it's your last chance to actually get out in the second round and have some pride. It's your last chance. And if you can't play, I get it, right? Like, but you got to be present. You've got to help your team.
Especially, like, you have all these new pieces and stuff. They're coming in here being like, this is how this franchise is run.
Exactly.
You start
Looks
players
bad.
late to everything
Right.
with a half-ass attitude.
Like, what do you think, like, LeBron James, like, when people go to the Lakers, Don't you think that
Yeah.
thing is buttoned up?
Yes.
Bron, make sure he does.
I can tell you because I covered Michael Jordan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Michael Jordan screaming at his teammates at practice, going at them like it was the 7th game of an NBA final. I saw it. I was in Deerfield, Illinois. There was a curtain. Phil Jackson allowed the curtain to be open to watch half a practice. I used to get there early to watch the practice because it was like amazing theater watching Jordan. Yeah. And Jordan would scream and yell and push and look to achieve.
This feels like, what was that term you said before? Sucker punch when you were a kid? Like, it feels like the fan base just got sucker punch. And like last year during the playoffs, this dude was playing the bad knee, playing with the Bell's palsy. Then this past summer, he plays the Olympics. And I really thought that we turned the page. We were heading into at least trying to win a championship. And then all this stuff comes out. Like, we just got sucker punched here last night.
Well, you know.
I mean, we've had the signs
honestly,
coming.
We shouldn't have been sucker punched because we should have saw it.
Yeah.
Square, you saw them. Now, you don't know the fact that Maxey has to come out and say
It's
it
just bad, Coach.
is embarrassment. Embarrassing. It's the height of embarrassment. It's the height of what's wrong with him. Like, I do.
Should not be getting called out, cuz. He should be the leader.
I don't know how he comes back because he's thin-skinned. And the fact that this is leaked as well, this is a public shaming going on right
Oh
now.
my God,
too.
Shams was all over ESPN yesterday.
All day.
Right? All day. He was all over ESPN. It's a national story that he's late. Like, and again, this isn't like, oh, my man was 5 minutes late for practice. Like he was 5 minutes late for work.
He's late for everything.
Yes.
Everything.
When you are supposed to be the leader, when it's your team, that's horrible. That is a horrible look. It's a terrible look.
No more assists to win than me. Yeah.
And like everything he says, yeah, all right, cuz.
Right.
Like everything he can utter from now on, right.
Right. He's a fraud.
Like,
It feels like he's just a fraud.
And then people go, what are you supposed to say? This is what's so painful. So we have our GM here, who I love, Vince Pellegrini, right? Vince has been on.
He's right.
We have, he and I have fought, debated over Embiid, right? I have to give it today. I actually have to say it publicly and give it up to him because every day, trade him. I'm like, you can't trade him. What are you going to get for him? You know, this is your best chance for a title. Mm-hmm. Blah, 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 blah. You want to go back to the process days. Trade him. He's got to go. He's never win. I mean, how is he not? He's right.
He's 100% right.
Like win. Like if you're getting called out by your teammates, how possibly could you win? How possibly because it manifests itself in so many different ways. Like how many moments when the times got tough did he just shrink? Mm-hmm. Right? And I go, well, Simmons, Harden. Right?
Fultz.
Right? All those guys. But,
he's always here.
He's the common denominator.
Yeah, no matter what coaches, we always have drama here. And I think he's the drama. It really seems like he's the drama.
And it sucks. I mean, the dude's an amazing talent. He's an amazing, when he's healthy, I mean, are you kidding me? He's unstoppable.
He's an MVP.
He's unstoppable. I mean, he's a generational talent.
Yep.
But my God, the thing that you can control the most, you can't control health in your knee. I understand that. But the thing you can control the most is your attitude.
Yeah.
All right? And he's smart. Let me tell you something. That dude's one of the smartest guys I've ever covered. He's highly intelligent. One of the most intelligent guys I've ever covered. And the way he trolls the social media, all that nonsense stuff. But he's really, really bright. And he can't channel what's inside. That's sad.
Dude, look what Maxey's doing. Calling him out. But even see him on the sidelines. He's coaching guys up. Like, Embiid should be doing that. Like, if you're hurt right now, okay, we understand. But, dude.
That face of when he got drafted is the same.
No, they do say there was a time delay at some point.
I know.
But I mean, let's play them all.
Listen, come on. You know what we're doing here for a reason.
Yeah.
Stop taking it literal.
Right.
This is nonsense. the fact that we're having this conversation today about him being late.
Yeah.
It's nonsense.
How old is he at this point?
It's pained. And again, this is Maxey calling him out. Maxey calling him out.
Nicest guy on the planet.
Right? Like, you're getting called out by your team. This isn't some report.
His little brother, who's the sweetest guy on the planet, is so irritated after that effort the other night and everything else going on behind the scenes. He has to call him out.
This is Maxey's team.
Like,
but it's not. Like Johnny Goodtime's like, you guys are laser focused on Embiid when it's his franchise. He is the franchise. Everything runs through Embiid right now. Every decision.
I don't want to hear about anything other than him, because that's the problem. He needs to take responsibility. He hasn't taken responsibility for that.
Right.
He hasn't.
That's the issue. You can say all you want about processes and Simmonses and Hardens and Morey's and Colangelos and everybody else. He's got to take responsibility and want to win. I get he may be limited because of the knee.
Mm-hmm.
But doing the things that you need to do, the basic things that Maxey called you out on, is galling.
It's crazy.
I don't want to hear about anything else. And the other thing, which it drives me nuts, people are saying, well, he's trying to get out of town. He's trying to trade the Slee Stack. My man, Silent Moon. The Slee Stack is trying to get out of town. And I go, why?
Yeah, why?
Like, why would you want to get out of town when it's your franchise, when you got Maxey and Paul George and everything you want, and you're getting paid ridiculous sums? What else would make you happy? What would make you happy out of town? Tell me.
To get away from the pressure of Philadelphia. That's all I can think about.
We were always behind him until this injury stuff.
I don't want to hear the pressure of Philadelphia.
I don't know why.
When I go, what more you want? You want to go to New York?
He doesn't want to be the face of a franchise.
Like, you want to go to New York?
He wants to go to Miami and have Jimmy take all the pressure and the heat and be the face, I guess. I don't know.
Like, go to New York and let's see you in New York deal with that.
Yeah.
You think Philadelphia's tough? Go play at the Garden and come up short. And don't show up for Game 6.
And get called out for being late to everything. Do that in New York.
That'll be right on slammed on the back page.
Up until this season, what pressure did he actually have from the city? We always had his back. This fan base always had his back. Like, I don't understand what
he's got the pressure for
year.
championship. I mean, we've suffered enough with this team.
It is. It's just unthinkable. It's horrible. Like, and it's so stupid.
It is.
Like being late. Like the fact that your teammate calls you out. Wow. My God.
The fact that
and you can say all you want. Hey, the organization wasn't tough enough on him, and Brett Brown was not tough on him, and he was not tough on Ben Simmons, and he created these monsters, blah, 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 blah. At some point, you grow to bleep up, and you go, I want to win. Like, you wanted to go to the Olympics. All right.
He learned nothing at the Olympics.
You wanted to be around those guys. Like, I thought the same thing. Like, oh, wow. It's a good thing. He'll be around LeBron. Yeah. He'll be around KD. He'll be around all those dudes, right? Steph. And, you pick up on work habits and, just what it takes to win. Like, those guys, the three of those guys know how to win, right? Like, they've been around it. They exude winning. Like, it would just rub off on Embiid. I thought the Olympic thing was a good thing.
Yeah.
And like, the fact that Maxey has to call him out. Oh, my God. I thought I'd seen a lot. I've seen everything with this franchise.
Nope.
Burner accounts from the GM, right? Like all
Ben Simmons stuff.
I mean, the Simmons with his cell phone in his pocket, right? Passing up the dunk, like one after another, right? Crazy. That's why we play Days of Our Lives, right? The whole thing. But Embiid at this age getting called out, that's outrageous.
By his little brother.
Outrageous. Get called out by your little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
That's exactly it. Because Maxey loves him. Oh, my. All right. We got Keith Pompey coming up from the Inquirer. Can't wait to talk to Keith. We got Kevin Negandhi coming up. Can't wait to talk to Kevin. All right.
Oh, boy.
We got lots to do. Let's talk about our friends for a second. Yes, let's talk about Golden Nugget Jewelers right on 8th and Chestnut. In the heart of Jewelers Row. Please, if you met that some special somebody and you're like, hey, I want to pop the question because this is engagement season. Thanksgiving's next week. You're going to be around the Christmas holidays, New Year's. Oh, my God, it's perfect. Valentine's Day. This is the engagement season. We're in the thick of it, right? It's like the pennant races going on right now. So go see my man, Yaron, at Golden Nugget Jewelers. He'll teach you about the diamond, cut and clarity and carat and the whole thing, right? Like, you know, what's best and what goes in the setting and her taste, man, your budget, most importantly, the whole thing. So he'll take care of you, walk through the whole process, and he'll be your guy for life. So when you need anniversaries and birthdays and you name it, holidays, you go to your own Golden Nugget Jewelers. GoldenNuggetJewelers.com. It's where Philly gets engaged.
All right, cuz. Well, let's talk now about Empire Today, because I am feeling as low as the floor. But in all seriousness, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have our holidays are right here, right? Thanksgiving right around the corner. Christmas is coming up as well. So you're going to have family and friends over at the house, and you don't want them to stare at that old floor that's been there since the 80s anymore. No. We want to refurbish. We want to change it up. Get something nice and fresh. So with Empire Today, they're our stop here for our new floorings here. And they're going to give you that in-home convenience, and they're going to give you the product that you need, and even better, that quick and professional installation and a price match guarantee. Now, obviously, Empire Today is going to have competitors, and what these competitors are going to offer you is a low price, but that also means low quality. That's not what Empire Today is going to do. They're only going to put a floor in your house that they would put in their own home, and that's the Empire difference. High quality, ladies and gentlemen, so it can last longer. So do not wait any longer. Schedule your free in-home estimate today. Our listeners can receive up to a $350 off discount when you use the promo code PHLY. Just keep in mind that restrictions do apply. See EmpireToday.com/PHLY for more details. So, ladies and gentlemen, for this holiday, you yourself could have that brand new flooring with our friends at Empire
Today.
We're not in the mood today.
No, not at all.
And I'm assuming we're not talking about the Eagles defense today, guys.
I would love to talk about the Eagles. I love the Eagles defense. It's my source of joy.
Yes.
Quinyon Mitchell, Quinyon Bay,
The Koopa.
San Quinyon Penitentiary.
Flyers are on tonight.
I mean, Cooper Sharp. I love him. Jalen Carter. The Eagles defense is my happy place.
Not the Sixers.
Oh, God. I got to give it to our guest. Is he here? Because Keith Pompey, God bless him, is a great reporter. He has been covering this team, all right? I mean, for a long time, he's been on this beat.
Give him a raise, man.
And what he has had to endure over the time that he has covered this team and done such an incredible job doing it, I got to give him an award. We got to come up with like the Cuz Awards or something.
No, just
so I can give my man an award for the job he's done. Good morning, Keith. How are you, my brother?
Good morning, man. You need to give me the balding and gray beard award.
Dude, first of all, you need an award. You have done such an incredible job. I mean, and you have had to deal with this team. Dude, I don't know how you've covered the beat and kept your sanity because everything around you is an asylum. It's insane.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, but you know what is exciting? There's always storylines, right? That's the one thing we can say. There's always storylines. And look, I remember you were following the team the one year. You know, you were on the road with them. So, I mean, you got to see things up close and
I know. Believe me, I wanted to write a positive book.
Yeah.
I wanted to write the book about the road to the title. I have another book in me that is the opposite. I got to ask you, I lost it. I lost it because for Embiid to have Maxey call him out is the height of low and of all the nonsense and everything else that your teammate calls you out in a team meeting for not being on time, being late, and not showing up, not being present. That, to me, is the ultimate sin.
Yeah, it is. But it also goes back to what the culture was when Embiid first came here. Like, we look at Maxey. Outside of Embiid, Maxey is the longest tenured 76er. But he also came when Doc Rivers came, right? So he wasn't around when all that other stuff was going on. So definitely not where the guys who are new. But the things that Joel is getting away with are things that he's doing is something that he's done since he's been here. I mean, people forget about his rookie year, and I'm not talking about the year that he played. They're talking about the first year that he sat out, where he almost got into a fist fight with one of the trainers because he didn't want to work out. So, these are something like, and I don't blame Joel. It's kind of like if you have a kid and you say, hey, you can dance on the furniture, but as soon as like mom and dad or grandma comes in the house, you're like, yo, you got to get off the couch. And they're like, what you talking about? It's one of those things where they allowed him to do this. You know what I mean? He was the big player.
Yeah, but
he
can I
didn't play
stop
a
you for
game.
1 second? I just to debate this because it's a fascinating debate because clearly I totally get where you're coming from. And if he was 25 years old all right, like you're right, but not now. You got to grow to bleep up. Like at some point, and you cry, I want to be a tight end in the face of a team, and blah, 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 blah. Well, you got to grow to bleep up and do the right thing. At some point, you got to be a man and go out and try to be the man.
Exactly. But here's the thing. I get what you're saying, and we can go there too, but you have a son, right? So you have a son. Two of them. So you got two sons. And again, I don't want this to be a Marcus Hayes situation, nothing like that. That's my guy.
Dude,
all I'm saying is
I get the height of respect for you.
Yeah, I get all I'm saying is if your wife had your son and allowed your son to do whatever he wanted after he graduated, he became a cellar dweller, not trying to get a job, this and that, and then all of a sudden he falls in love with a young lady, and then he wants to do stuff, and then people are like, well, how come he can't keep a job? How come he can't do this? How come the marriage isn't working? Well, it was set up that way. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying. Now, the problem is, and I will agree with you with this, when you become the face of the franchise and you become that guy, you're LeBron James. He's not LeBron James, but LeBron is the face of every franchise he's been. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. These are the guys who typically are the first one in there and the last one to leave. They're the one laying down the law. So it does look bad when Maxey has to tell him this, because you shouldn't have to tell the superstar that. But the problem is kind of sort of, if you allow someone to do this since they've been here the 2014-15 season, and you allow them to do that, that becomes who that person is. You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, yes, he has to be a man. He has to man up and grow up. But at the same time, sometimes you have to say the culture created this. It enabled him to become that
listen,
guy.
I don't disagree. I mean, and the problem is, we can get deeper and talk about the league and the players having way too much power, where and I, as well as I do, that his agents ran his rehab. I mean, down to the point where if he was sick, the agents would have someone give him his medicine. I mean, we're talking about like childlike behavior type of thing, where the organization, like, what do you want us to do? The guy, the organization had a charity event, all right, and there was another player, not Embiid, but another player who refused to go to the charity event because it was like, well, it's not in my contract. It was like, well, it's a charity thing. Like, come on, man. Come on, bro. Like, come to show up. We'll send you the car, the whole thing. No. Like, just to be petulant. Like, that is, and like, at some point, the organization goes, well, what do you want us to do? Like, do we have, you don't have a hammer. Like, or else you don't have, you're just going to be a perpetual, you'll be Brooklyn and be a young team. And, at some point, because players are spoiled, unless you get the right one, right? It comes down to, if you get the guy that really wants to achieve, a Jalen Hurts mentality type, right? Working and, what else you do? Like, at some point, you got pride.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree. And the thing about this is, the unfortunate thing is that, we're still talking about this not you and I, but I'm talking about like,
Yeah.
the work ethic. But it's crazy because you remember a couple of days ago before all this, and even afterwards, like outwardly, everyone is saying we're going to be fine. Wait till we get everyone back. Before they were saying when Maxey was out there, wait till PG and Embiid comes back. And now they're like, oh, wait till Maxey comes back. Oh, we're going to be fine. Don't worry about us. But the problem is that, going 2-11, there's only been like a handful of teams who made the playoffs after starting 2-11, and none of them got out of the first round. So, this is a team right now in turmoil. The fact that they had to bring that up. And the thing is, you got to understand something. The thing that makes it more obvious and I guess frustrating the other people is like you have a guy like Paul George, who's a 9-time All-Star. You have guys like Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry's a 6-time All-Star. But Reggie Jackson, all these guys have played with future Hall of Famers. And they all know how future Hall of Famers go about their work, how like demanding they are, how they get on people, how they hold people accountable. And when you have a guy that you have Tyrese Maxey, who has to tell him in front of the team that, yo, bruh, you're showing up late is having a negative impact on people. That's not a really good look, because what it's telling me is you got these other guys coming in and saying, yo, we thought this thing was great. And then from the outside looking in, from when you come in here, you're like, they got problems over here. So it's not good for Embiid, and it's not good for the Sixers. And to be honest with you, I really didn't like his body language in the games that he played. And it just wasn't what you expect from your leader.
I know. Well, we've talked about moping and body language as a part of the whole thing during the whole ride. We've talked about the moping and the body. And I've raised my hand. I'm guilty. I made excuses. Well, Harden, Simmons, but geez, when he went to the Olympics, I thought, well, that's a good thing because he'll be around LeBron, Steph, KD. Those guys exude winning, right? Like those guys, they're like just being around players like that. Like maybe the light bulb goes off and, new attitude and the whole thing. And then, it's gotten worse. People are asking, is he trying to get out of here? The whole Marcus Hastings. But if you're trying to get out of here, what more do you want? It's your franchise. You've got players around you. What do you want?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I do? I wonder if he knows that he's no longer the same player, at least right now.
Right.
And in the past, Marcus, this isn't the first time that Marcus was critical of him. Now, you can say what you want about that column, but this isn't the first time. Right. But in the past, Embiid would be able to come out and drop 40 on someone, and then everyone would like, yeah. I'm wondering if Embiid knows that, I'm just a shell of myself right now, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the frustration is mounting, because there's expectations on him. Think about this. Embiid in the beginning of the season, before he says, hey, look, I'm just going to sacrifice my individual skills for the good of the team. And at first everyone was like, why? You're the guy. Now it looks like, well, maybe he realizes at this particular stage, he can't do it.
Yeah.
He just can't. So I wonder if that has a lot to do with his frustration and why he's acting this way and why he's saying certain things.
It's a great theory, man. You know what, Keith? It's a great theory because I buy that. Deep down, he knows, I don't know, I ain't got it. And if I ain't got it, what do I have? If I lost my superpower, and I don't know, now all of a sudden, if you tell me, all right, I don't have it, I'm freaked out by it, I'm depressed by it, and so I'm late and I'm disengaged, I'm not engaged. I kind of understand, right? You're going through some horrific thing where you feel like you've gotten the Monstars sapped your ability. maybe that is it. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like Keith.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
DJ,
I wanted to say something. Like you had said that this may be something that the organization has created, but I would say maybe they've more been enablers with this. I don't think they created the way he is, but they've enabled it. And I just don't think he's got the heart of a champion, man. Like they can't create that. They could enable him to be a moper and lazy. But he doesn't hate losing. Like he's not a champ. And if he does think his capabilities are diminishing, a champion would be working out harder, being on time, trying to do everything they can to get that back. And I think that's what's so frustrating for me as a fan, watching this all play out and hearing all this happen. And you're thinking he doesn't have the heart to win this. He's just not in it all.
Well, you know what, Keith? Do you remember the story where his father, who was the general, he's on the couch playing the video games, and he blew off the tryout? Remember where he got discovered? And his father's like, yo, man, what are you doing? You got to go. The next day he went. It feels like he's still the same kid that's on the couch.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is, and you guys are right, it is enabling because, you look at it, there's been, like, let's say TJ McConnell, of course, he's the guy who fought hard. There's some other guys who were here who turned out to be, hard workers. So yeah, they did enable it. It's just, it's to me, like you said, I mean, he blew off the workout. It's just an unfortunate situation because, I think that right now, Joel is a talented player. When he's healthy, right? He's probably arguably the most dominant big man that we've seen, right? When he's healthy. But I feel like he had developed a lot of bad habits that prevented him to take it to a next level. And unfortunately, like when he said, the one thing that I think that he said that he's going to live to regret is when he said, for all these, and I'm paraphrasing, for everything that I've done for this city. And when you look at it, you went out in second round, you had second round exits, you know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah, you brought excitement to the city. And yes, you did play injured and you did a lot of things. But at the end of the day, your legacy is basically going to be that you can't get out the second round. So when you say, I did this for the city, there are going to be some young people, some millennials who love Joel Embiid. But then for the older people who know about the basketball and its history and the Allen Iversons, the Dr. J's, the Moses Malones, and on, they're going to look at it like, bruh, you're the only superstar that they had who couldn't get out the second round. You know what I mean? So, I think that it's a tough situation. And it's one of those things where I think that Joel may live to regret those words if things don't pan out the right way for him.
Yeah, it's a shame, man. Like, my biggest regret is he's so interesting, right? He is an incredibly talented, like you said it. Like, when he's right, I mean, I never saw Wilt, but I can only imagine and extrapolate, and he would have that ability, not what was in Wilt's heart, because we know about that, but like that's who he would be. He's highly intelligent. I was saying earlier, he's probably the most intelligent athlete I've ever covered. I mean, I don't care if they went to Harvard or Yale. Like, that dude is a smart guy. Like, a conversation with that guy, he's a really bright dude. And he knows what he's doing. And sometimes I feel like he's almost too smart for his own good, in the sense that he knows how to get over on everything. And I hate to say it and go Sonny and Bronxdale, but it feels like wasted talent.
Yeah, it does. It seems like he doesn't give up. He lived up to his potential. And yeah, and we can say the enabler, the part, and it's to a point where, you can get by with less is more. Like now, and the thing is, sometimes you go out there and you see Joel in the pure sweat after practice. You see this and that, and he's working hard. But then you realize when you see James Harden coming in, and again, I get it. James Harden parties his tail off. But I'm gonna tell you all this: when James came here, like, it was like I was like, wow, this guy is doing all this after practice. Like, I've never seen that before, right?
Yeah.
So it puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, you look at Joel and you know, it's just it's a sad situation. But then you also ask yourself a question. If Joel Embiid was still out there dominating, would this be a topic? Like, or do people just go deal with it? You know what I mean? Like, do people
Well, no,
still?
it would be a topic if Maxey. The only reason why it's a topic, it's not like you reported it or Shams or whatever. It's Maxey who loves him, and it's Maxey in a team meeting calling him out. Like, that's embarrassing.
Oh, I'm not minimizing that. I'm just saying it's kind of like, you ever notice, like, sometimes when you're a great person, I mean, a great player, and you're like putting fans in the seats, you're dominating games, some people like put up with stuff. Like, I can't stand this guy, but he's a great player. I'm not going to say anything. He can do whatever. You know what I mean?
I don't know if Maxey loves him. I don't know if he was balling right now. Would Maxey say it? I mean, they wouldn't be 2-11, right? I don't know. I mean, to your point, if that to me, the whole thing starts and ends with Maxey. When Maxey is forced, because you know what's in his heart, and he loves him, when he's forced to say that and it gets leaked, that to me is a bombshell.
Well, here's the thing, because that you gotta, when we talk about this, typically, things, they do get leaked.
Yeah.
But as quickly as that thing got leaked, it's kind of sort of like someone wanted it out there to embarrass Embiid, to make him walk the straight and narrow, right? They wanted it out there because typically, they wanted it out there. So that was like, wow, because it came out.
I mean, it's almost like we obviously we'll call him insider, right? Whatever you want to call him, the whistleblower. It's like the team needs this jolt so bad that the only way to reach Embiid after all these years is to publicly shame him. Now, here's my question to you. How does he react to this? He is highly sensitive. So I don't know how he comes back, how he reacts to being the topic of conversation for what's going to be 2 media day cycles.
Yeah, that's going to be the tough part right there, because, everyone's going to, think about it. People watching the game tonight, everyone's going to look at the bench to see how he reacts. Everyone's going to look at his body language when he doesn't get a pass, right? Or somebody makes a mistake. So that now, of course, everyone's going to say on the team, oh, it's great. Joel knows what to do. It was blown out of proportion. When they went in the locker room, the media members went in the locker room, I heard, Maxey, Kyle Lowry, Embiid, and Paul George were in there laughing and joking, right? Having a good time. So everybody's going to bring that up. But deep down inside, if you're Joel, you're like, yo, I played in 3 games. This team is 2-11. And everybody's saying me being late for everything is a problem, right? But I haven't been around all the time. So, that's the one thing to pay close attention to, because, again, he's a guy that he's been doing things for a long time, and it was never addressed publicly like this, right? It never came out. So now the fact that it's coming out, that's something that everybody has to pay attention to how he responds.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. Like, you can say whatever you want, oh, the media's blown out of proportion, because don't blame the media.
Of course.
Maxey called you out in the meeting. Like, you can't get around that. And by the way, it's not just Philadelphia. Shams was on ESPN all day yesterday talking about it, right? Everybody's weighing in. All of Bristol weighs in on it. Wait till TNT guys, wait till Charles and Shaq weigh in on it. Like, this stuff is out there. You can't just blame it as noise from the Philadelphia media.
And can I just add this? Because the worst person to do it was Maxey. Because, see, if it was PG or somebody else, they'd like, yo, what's this guy talking about? But everyone loves Maxey. Yes. Maxey has a great relationship with him. Maxey is the type of guy that, people want their daughters to marry. He's that type of dude, right?
Totally.
So for him to do that, right? For him to say that, and we talk about leadership, like when you look at the games, whenever Jared McCain makes a mistake or somebody else, what is Maxey doing? He's not playing. He's standing up over there telling them what to do in games. So for Maxey to say that, it's just it makes it worse, in my opinion, because
totally
this guy is like the best teammate, and he does have a good relationship with you. And you labeled him the franchise.
Yeah.
So that's why it looks bad.
Yep.
Hey, can I ask you guys, because you guys have been covering basketball forever, everyone's trying to speculate. With that, like, not saying names or anything, but is a leak like this something that comes more from players, agents, front office? Like, where do you speculate this would come from?
Well, I have my idea. I mean, I would think it would be front office.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I mean, let's be real, right? Like, look at the suspects. Agents don't care about stuff like that. Players don't want that stuff out there. But a front office that can't reach its star player, well, hey, this is the last thing I could try is to shame the dude. So that would be my guess.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you assemble a team that's supposed to be winning like a championship, and they have like you got the pieces, and this one guy isn't like playing up or doing
engaged,
the things that you expect, right? It's kind of sort of like you put the blame on this dude where the blame is not going to be on everyone else. Because, if this team struggles, you look at it, who gets blamed? It's the front office. Because you look at the roster, you look at and you see they got 3 max players who can't stay healthy. 2 of them, we already knew they couldn't stay healthy before they got paid, right? And then you have a bunch of role players who you're asking to be stars and they're struggling. Team is 2-11. Yeah, typically stuff like that is kind of leaked by the front office. Basically leaked by the front office.
Dude, I love you, man. You are, again, we're going to do the awards in January, and make sure you're available because we got to give you get a special award, man. Because you're great at what you do and cover this team, and what you've had to deal with is amazing. So thanks as always, brother. Our conversations are great. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, my whole mustache is going to be white next time by January. All right, see y'all.
Thanks, brother. There he is, Keith Pompey.
Oh man,
it's a good question. You know,
it's fascinating stuff, man.
I mean, that's it.
So many layers to
the Cuzzies. That should be the award.
The Cousins.
The Cuzzies.
I mean, not for nothing, but I agree they enabled them, but when do you just wake up,
right?
Man?
I mean,
and again, it goes back to Maxey. It's not about the reason why I freaked out today is because it's Maxey saying this. It's not some report. Like, we would react and go, oh, look at that, they're lame, blah, blah.
Right.
We're talking practice. Like, it would be like that. No, it's Tyrese.
Yeah, he's the last person you would expect to do
right.
this.
Like, if Tyrese goes, dude, I love you, but you're killing us. Like, that's basically what he said. I love you. You're my main man, but you're killing us right now. You're burying us. You're not doing what you need to do.
And not, like, pulling him to the side in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That speaks volumes.
It's like Rocky 3, Adrian and Rocky on the beach, man.
I mean, you just have to hope that, like, he responds to that someone so close to him, his little brother, is the one saying that to you.
I don't know. That's the question. I don't think I don't know. He's a powder, right? So, I don't know.
Now there's a negative image of him.
Here's my guess. My guess is he turns around. They blame the media. The Philadelphia media makes a ball out of a molehill. Nothing, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're all laughing and joking, and, and that's how they do it.
Yep.
And then he retreats into himself, and I'm not speaking, I'm not posting, I'm not tweeting. That's what happens.
The coward's way.
Whatever. Is the brain around? Brain.
Brain. Red, the brain finder.
Good morning, Le Brain.
Good morning, Anthony. I got to tell you, this whole Embiid thing to me, God, it's like I could talk about it for 20 hours in a row, probably longer. Like, to me, the reason the Bulls, going back in the day when they had Jordan, right? It was everyone's, best player in the league right at the time, maybe ever. Everyone always said he was, when you got there, not only was he the best player, but he held you accountable. That was his life. He was obsessed with basketball. That was everything. It all started with him, where you were accountable not only to yourself, but to him, because he set that tone. When you play for Bill Belichick, he set the tone. You're not going to be coming into a meeting an hour late. The NBA has always been a league to me, Anthony, out of any sport, where it lends itself, where it's easiest for one player and their habits to affect the team more than any other sport. I think it is the NBA. And I think you've seen, and look, I'm going to be honest, why have the Sixers not been successful in the playoffs? Why? Again, Embiid, I'm not talking anything away from his career. He's had a Hall of Fame career in every sense of the word. But man, again, none of what he said, and I'm not in the inside like you are. You know what's going on 1,000 times better than me. But from the outside looking in, everything he said was kind of what I thought without having firsthand knowledge, if that makes sense. And I'm really glad he had the guts to do it, because I'm sure it wasn't easy to do what he did. But maybe, maybe that'll be a lightning rod, so to speak, to get him to change, coming the way it did publicly, maybe shaming him, maybe saying, you know what, all right, I already have the $200 million contract, I have the MVP, I have the Olympic gold medals, but what don't I have? I don't have the postseason success. And maybe this will get him to say, all right, listen, let me try it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, after all, here's the bottom line. The bottom line is, if Tyrese Maxey is calling you out for not being, doing what you're supposed to do, and you're this was supposed to be.
That's what I'm saying, man.
The final push, right? The last chance.
Yeah.
You heard of Last Dance? This is Last Chance. That's what this was. And we're 5 minutes into the last chance. I'm expecting that thing to get started, right? To go, let's go. And I'm expecting him to at least be engaged now. I know he's hurt, but frustrated, but at least be engaged now.
It reminds me, Anthony, if you had a kid who's 16, 17 years old with a troubled parent, and the kid's almost taking care of the parent when it should be the opposite. Embiid's been here, 11 years, whatever it's been. This just shouldn't be an issue. And again, I wonder again, if you had, maybe the NBA doesn't have, Anthony, you always say the NFL is a coach's league. Again, Bill Belichick, I go back. No, I don't care who you are. No one's going to come into Bill Belichick and act like a buffoon, right? NBA, I think it's harder to get.
That's where the league works. Because you should respect your coach. You should respect your team, your organization. And I was telling the story earlier, some of the stories that you hear, that I don't feel comfortable saying.
I'm sure you've heard stuff
I have not substantiated it, but I kind of believe they're true, are outrageous. The behavior, the entitlement, it's nonsense. And it wouldn't happen in football. Because in football, this is what it is, man. You are at the behest of your coach and your organization. It's a part of your success, the whole thing. And there's a mentality. When you play, here's the thing. And football's not fun, right? Football practice isn't fun. Games are fun. But all week long, it's arduous. It's tough. All right? Yeah. It's a lot. Football is a lot. And so you have to be a certain mentality to play football. And basketball's fun. Love playing basketball. It's fun, right? Everybody does it. Everybody loves it. It's fun. And I think there's an inherent difference in the makeup of the athlete when it comes to basketball and, say, football.
Yeah, and when just seeing those words by Maxey, and you want to talk about an eye-opener. Again, listen, to me, again, the question is, what do you do? If you're the team, if you're his team, you're a guy like Kyle Lowry, who's NBA champion, had a great career.
Yeah, but you got no standing, right? As much as you're.
No, I know that. I know that. What I'm saying is, he sees it veterans see it. I almost think you almost organizational. You have to almost have remember I said as a joke they needed to have with Nick Sirianni making these decisions, they needed to have like an intervention. But it's almost like maybe organization, they say, listen, everyone, we have to hold this guy accountable, from the coaches to every player, to saying we will suspend your ass if you're going to not give yourself fully to this team. We are not going to support you anymore. We're not going to just cater to you. We're not going to fawn over you because you're our best player. We're going to make you accountable the way the other players in this team are accountable. And that's what I'm saying. Culture is so important in in life. Everything.
Yes.
If you let that foster itself, Anthony, and you let it grow, it can become like a cancer.
You think anybody's telling Mike Tomlin, I don't care how great you are or whatever.
Yes.
That you're gonna go Mike Tomlin? Nah, I'm not practicing. I don't feel up to it. I'm late. I'm gonna be on my time. You think Mike Tomlin?
That's the best one.
Will deal with that?
No, but and again, I don't know if it's just the culture of maybe like in hockey that would never fly. And somehow in basketball,
I think basketball, and I do. I think it's inherent. I think the great players are such great self-starters. They're just born winners. It's LeBron, it's Steph, KD. Like those guys, they know how to win. They play to win, right? Like they're about winning. Michael, Kobe, like we've been to Magic, like all those guys.
Tim Duncan.
The common is like they are self-starters and they're winners. They don't skirt the system. Like they're not trying to get over. They put work in. I don't know. Anyway, Brain.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I see again. I don't know.
I know.
We'll have to see. Yeah.
I feel you, my brother. I don't know how it plays out. I don't know. What do
you like him tonight? You like him tonight?
No. No, do I like him? No, I don't. No. Hey, by the way, can I just say one thing? This has nothing to do with Jarrett McCain. But don't connect.
Don't connect.
37. He set tied a rookie record, 9 threes last night. And by the way, they won. All right? They actually won because he plays with LeBron and Anthony Davis. That's what I had in mind. The last 2 games he started, Brain, 27. He had his first start. He could shoot the rock. And it's so much so that he's doing on a team with LeBron and Anthony Davis. And nothing against McCain because he's a sweet kid. And I root for him and everything else. But that's why I wanted Dalton Connect, because I thought he was a fit like that. But anyway.
Hachimura is going to be Wally pipped, Anthony. I think that's pretty obvious. Rui Hachimura has been injured the last couple of games.
Yeah.
I do not think we'll see him back in the starting rotation.
He got the hat.
It's me, Roy Saranara. Because can you see what he brought to this Lakers team? Anthony, he could be the difference that makes that team. Maybe they have one last run with LeBron here.
I know.
Because of a guy like that, quite frankly.
Spreads the floor. Anthony Davis could just eat all day long. Yeah. They look good.
Yeah, they really did. And again, you got to get a guy like that who can shoot like that.
From 3. The last 2 games, 64%.
And he was out of his mind. I don't know if you saw it, but it was just every possession. And they fed him. Yeah. That's what LeBron's.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Feed the kid. The kid's on fire. Feed him. And the kid just was bang.
If he came here, though, he'd stink. With the culture, he'd be horrible, dude. He's got a different culture out there.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what he's translating here.
You're right. What do you got tonight, buddy boy?
Well, I think it's interesting. Trae Young, they made his over-under like 22.5. I think it's a tad low. He averaged 26 last year. He's been assisting more this year. Hasn't gotten quite as many points, but I still think 22.5, a tad low. He's averaging over 30 in his career against the Warriors. I like his over tonight. I just think, again, I think it's a tad low. Look, the Sixers now, I'll say this. Maxey, Anthony, I read he's on a minutes restriction. I think I saw his over-under posted if he plays, it's 17.5. When guys are on minutes restrictions, I don't know. I never trust him to get that many minutes. I don't know if he's going to get 18 if he's on a minutes restriction, but we'll see. I think that's maybe a little bit too high. Again, obviously, I'm not Nick Nurse. I don't know what exactly the plan is in terms of how many minutes they're gonna play him. But I think that's maybe a tad too high. But Anthony, I got a lot of stuff tonight for our show in terms of NFL, college football. Definitely have a lot of good things for tonight.
Well, I love it. We look at Brain and I, 6 o'clock, Parks Casino.
Yes, sir.
Cuz's Corner. We'll be going through the football card. Can't wait, buddy.
All right, buddy.
Thanks.
I'll see you guys
Brad's
tonight.
Best Bets. Follow him, please. Thank you. All right. Let me tell you about, speaking of Bet Parks.
Friends.
We're going to be there tonight, Cuz.
That we will.
You and I, right, Andrew? We're going to be down there.
Favorite day of the week.
You know? I mean, we're going to be hanging out. Let me get to my man Baldini, who says Mike is our man at Parks. He's cool, Baldini, right?
Love Baldini.
He sent me our fine script because I don't really need it, because here's the deal. There's many ways to win at Parks Casino and on the Bet Parks Sportsbook Casino app. Your favorite casino games, blackjack, roulette, online slots, the Peaky Blinders, and Breaking Bad. I got Tommy shouting me. Dude, this gang's in London? Wow.
Oh.
You got to get in on it, man. It's unbelievable.
That first episode, wild.
Yeah, when do you see episode 3, the beginning? Wow. Every week, every weekend, Bet Parks presents Double the Spread. Listen to this. It's awesome. A boost on one select pro football game. Check the Bet Parks app every Friday afternoon for that weekend's Double the Spread. So they'll double it for you.
Ooh,
the dog, man. Birds 3-point road favorite in L.A. Tonight, Sixers 3-point favorite at Memphis.
Yeah, right.
All right. Birds 3-point favorite in L.A. Totals 50. All right. Bet more than just score, all the props you want. New users download the Bet Parks online casino and sportsbook app, and you get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down the first 24 hours. BetParks.com has all the details. You got to be in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Ohio. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. You got to be 21 years old. The Bet Parks Sportsbook online casino app. And let's talk about Rothman. Joints aching.
Yes.
Back out of whack.
Yes.
Hands cramping.
Yep.
There you go. Rothman's got you. Embiid fatigue.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely that one.
Rothman Orthopedics, practicing specialized care, has been their passion for over 50 years. Their mission, high quality, compassionate, affordable care rooted in research. Research leading to new treatments and better outcomes. Each Rothman doc is laser focused on their specialty. Hip, knee, spine, you name it. They have a team for each body part right in your backyard. You cross over that defense, train those jumpers, root for our teams like no other fans in the country. They are Rothman Orthopedics. They specialize in you. And for more than 50 years, Rothman has participated in thousands of groundbreaking research and clinical trials with the goal of advancing knowledge, developing treatments, and improving outcomes for the benefit of their patients. Rothman Orthopedics specialize in orthopedics and you. Visit RothmanOrtho.com/PHLY to learn more and make an appointment today. All right, this portion of the show is brought to you by TrueMark Financial Credit Union, TrueMark.com/PHLY to see the credit union difference. I cannot wait to talk to our dear friend up in Bristol, and Bristol was popping.
Having a field day with
right?
this.
It was sizzling yesterday. Oh, man, with all the Embiid news, let's go to our hometown hero, who is the best. He is Kevin Negandhi. Kevin!
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys.
Oh, man.
Look at that shirt.
There.
That shirt says it all.
No one beat on there.
Let me tell you guys. I love working. I sometimes have a bad habit of saying yes to a lot of things. I was grateful I took yesterday off. I was grateful that I was not on the 6 p.m. Sports Center and that I did not have to talk about the debacle that is going and surrounding this basketball team. So, and speaking of team, as you guys made a reference to the shirt, this was a team. So it's bad, man. It's bad. Shams will text me literally before the story comes out, and I'll just be like, Kev. And I'm like, what are we doing, man? And it's every single week, man. I just don't understand it.
I mean, this is particularly bad because it's Maxey, right? It's Maxey and in a team setting telling him he's not doing what he needs to do. Like listen, there's been a litany of transgressions, right? Most of them minor with Embiid. But that one's serious. You can't have your young player, young face of the franchise, talk. It's your team. What are you doing?
So you're 100% right. What stood out with yesterday's report more than anything is I think the city kind of rolls its eyes on, physical issues, right? Because it's like here we go again kind of thing, right? It's where you're talking about accountability. That's where it's like, whoa,
yeah.
Accountability, right? And when the talent is not there on the floor, the accountability has to play a role somewhere else. And I bring that up because the other iconic guy in the last 25 years when it came to a franchise player was Allen Iverson. Accountability was not an issue when the game actually happened. It was behind the scenes with other things, right?
Yeah.
We talk about practice, all that. But when you are not accountable on the floor and you're not accountable behind the scenes, that's when it's like, wait a second. All right, if your body's not right, we get it. But you can't be late. And it shows you where this franchise is, specifically where Tyrese got his money. He's the franchise kid. He has a great relationship with Joel. I think he understands and he has stability, and now he has a voice where he has to say something. It's just bad, man. Just bad across the board. And it comes down to I have been a strong supporter for with Joel. I will continue to be because we just know about his talent. We know where we were over the last 10 years. But effort and listen, talent. I've always said this to my kids. There are a lot more people that are talented than me, but no one's going to outwork me and my effort. And that's the same mentality that my kids should have each and every time. Effort, and showing up. And let's see what happens. It's better that this is happening. Again, I keep saying it's better it's happening in November than it is, in March. But the gut punch is that enough is enough. Can we just play freaking basketball? Can we actually just do our jobs? We're getting paid to be superstars? Can the stars actually get paid and perform on the floor? And I think that speaks to what every Sixer fan is banging their head on right now.
Yeah, you look at him and it's entitlement, it's cluelessness, spoiled. I mean, those are the three words that come to mind. Like, listen, you said it. Look, your knee is not right. What are you going to do, right? You can't, as a fan, media, whatever, you can't get on them for a knee. You go, whatever.
Yeah,
you wish.
No, right?
Exactly. I always thought injuries, that's, if you got to take them at face value. They are what they are. I mean, you're an athlete, and that's what it is. But I didn't mean to cut you off, but accountability, when you look at Joel over the last decade, right? The one guy, and he talked about him earlier this week, is Jimmy Butler. He holds the highest respect for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler, basically, whatever Jimmy said, whatever Jimmy did in 2018, 2019, that 1 year, basically elevated Joel and changed Joel's outlook, right? And Joel it was the one thing that triggered Joel, that he wanted to play well for Jimmy. And Jimmy also found a way to tap into Joel to give Joel that certain confidence, right? And he didn't want to disappoint Jimmy because Jimmy would call him out. You only hope Tyrese has the same impact, right? That there's no other teammate aside from Jimmy Butler that I could ever remember that has, I think, the ability to connect with Joel to say accountability, you need to show up, right? And listen, let's not rewrite history. It's not just one guy. Shaq went through this through his years. Kobe couldn't stand it because Shaq wasn't accountable.
right? Dwayne Wade also called him out. And I'm not pinning this on Shaq, because Shaq is a legendary, maybe the best center of all time if you talk about pure talent and doing anything and everything he wanted on the floor, right? And so guys called him out. There have been times Charles Barkley's been called out. There have been times some of these guys have been called out. Legendary players have been called out in their careers, right? It's okay. These two guys, Shaq and Charles, have actually called out Joel. So ultimately, let's hope this is the wake-up call that turns everything around, because there's no one else that I think that makes a connection to Joel where there's accountability. You better show up.
Here's the problem, though. If this was 5 years ago, I go, yeah, right? Like, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Like, you're at the end, dude. Like,
yeah.
You talk about the last dance. This is the last chance. That's what this whole thing is. You want to create a title, a documentary, it's the last chance. This is it. I thought that you already turned the corner. You went to the Olympics. You were around the greatest, LeBron, Steph, KD, understood how to win. You wanted to be a leader. You wanted it to be your franchise. And now you need Tyrese Maxey to call you out. I'm sorry, dude. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, you're done. Like I don't know what else would reach him. Like, if that's the case, like, I thought you were beyond all that. Like, I get the knee, and what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do over that. But the mentality, like, if you're going to want to win, I mean, that's stuff you got to do. Health, no health, whatever.
You're right. And I'll add one more thing. They built this team specifically for him.
Yeah.
Like, they went through the whole Ben Simmons crap, and then you had to kind of unload it and find a way, so you're stuck with James Harden. But they literally built this team. The pieces that they added to this team were built for Joel's success. Like, Paul George is the perfect fit for Joel when we talk about spacing and what we're trying to do. They built the team. The roster has been basically transformed over the last 2 years for Joel's success. And you're right. This is last chance. The window is here, like, literally right here, and it's up to you. Like, and you got the extension, the max extension. I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens. I don't think it's one night. I don't think it's going to be 1 week. I don't think it's going to be a stretch run. I think it's got to be, let's see where we're at in the next 5 months. And we got to go from there. But it's bad. And they've hit, it feels like they've hit rock bottom over the last 24 hours to 48 hours.
Kev, I think you're spot on when you say, like, this is built for him. Everything the last couple of years. And I think that's what's such a gut punch as a fan, is we're aware of this. We had excitement coming in, and he's not excited enough to show up on time for things. Like, it's really like a gut spot. They've done everything for him for this year, and he can't even have the enthusiasm or excitement to be in the building on time for anything, apparently.
Yes. VG, you nailed it. And that's where it's just like, dude, what else do you need? What else do you want? And that's what's getting me. Like, you could stick up for a guy for so long, but at a certain point, it's like, dude, you got to still hold your end of the bargain and show up for some of this stuff. And we all get it. We've all been late to meetings. We've all been late to it. But if you're consistently missing out on everything, and let me tell you,
I don't think Booger's calling out Kevin Negandhi. I'll tell you that.
That locker room is patient. So when they have to have this, there's a reason why. Like, it is like, enough is enough. The season is basically about to be lost.
And beyond that, the rest of everything. Like, here's what's, I look and I see, and I don't want to see this, but I see the abyss again. Like, I
do too. Hold on, and hold on real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I just got something good coming.
All right. I like it. Maybe nice.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Somebody's at the door. But you're right.
Yeah.
I see the abyss, but What's different about this is Tyrese Maxey.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I don't mean to put everything on his shoulders, but the energy that he has, what the love for the game that he has, the leadership that he continues to show, it's Tyrese Maxey. And when we were in the abyss before, we didn't have Tyrese Maxey. We didn't have anybody like Tyrese Maxey.
Well, we kind of did. His name was AI, right? He got
I get that, but I'm saying that gap in between, right?
No, I'm with you. But what I even mean the abyss, like it's like, man, you got to start over again. And how do you start over again? Because like it still goes about winning, right? Like and I love Tyrese, but like you saw without Embiid and Paul George, like teams just run double and triple them, and I don't know. I like this thing's hard. I have to tell you, but this could be bad.
The one part of our DNA of the city is we love athletes that care as much as we do, and we love hustle, right? I think the city is a lot more tolerant of you show up, we'll support you because we know you're passionate.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're right. Like when it comes to Tyrese, I love. Who's more not to love? Everybody loves that kid. The kid's the greatest.
He is.
You support him no matter what.
100%.
All right. Indulge me for a few minutes. Two things. I got to get to Eagles and college football. All right. Eagles defense, dude. God, it's so great.
Awesome.
Isn't it good? Cooper and Quignon. My God, again. Dude, it's the greatest. I love and Jalen Carter's playing like he did in Athens, right? And Zach Bond. Man, Eagles defense. It's nice when the Eagles defense playing well.
I got to give Vic Fangio so much credit because we all felt like, what are we watching after that Bucs game, right?
Yeah.
I got to give him so much credit. He plays the best players. He's not playing the players he has to play, or there's no mandate from management. He's just like, I'm going to go with whatever I want. They attack the ball. Like Jalen Carter is a man possessed. And then there's the domino effect, right? When Jalen Carter does what Jalen Carter does, it frees everything up for Nakobe and Zach Bond. Zach Bond no longer has to deal with an offensive lineman coming down in that second layer, and now can attack and do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He's so much by clogging the middle, him and Jordan. It's amazing. And what a difference with Cooper and Quignon. Quignon it's awesome. Like, it's just awesome.
I know.
Cooper slide in and we don't have to worry about Avante. And remember that like it was just a revolving door of guys to try to fill that slot last year. We don't have to worry about it, man. It's just amazing. The word accountability is there on this defense, no matter what. And let's just love it. Now, here's the big test here. Matthew Stafford's pretty darn good, right? And then Lamar Jackson's pretty darn good. We'll learn more over the next weeks. But the best part of it is that they're playing like a unit together, and we're not holding our breath on every possession.
Yeah, and they're legit. Like, here's the other thing. Listen, if the Rams go out and they put up, 31 on Sunday night, all right. So, like, what I feel is I feel great about the foundation and the future. And look, you're talking about the best. You're talking about Kupp, Nakua, Kyron Williams, right? Stafford, who, when he's protected, is as good as anybody. And then Lamar. So, it's not like you got to hold, they got to be perfect. These are rookies that are playing the way they're playing, and I feel great about it.
I feel really great about it. And let's not forget, you have McVay, right? And you have McVay with a scheme, seeing enough on tape. We'll learn a lot on Sunday night, man. I'm actually really excited about it. Like, we'll learn a hell of a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you. So the rankings are out. What do you think, man? I can't wait. What are you thinking? Oh, that's not Kevin. That was Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
That was Andrew.
I don't know what happened.
That was Frazier. That was
so excited about the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll here he is. You got it back.
We'll get him back up in a second.
All right, good. We'll get to Kev because college football, the rankings come out. I love it. You're into it now too.
Rough weekend.
Whoa, wait, listen, Tennessee. You knew Georgia was going to come out.
Rough weekend.
There he is. We got him back. So the rankings have come out, buddy.
Yeah.
What do you think? BYU got smashed.
How are they still ranked?
How about Boise? Boise has a bye. I watched the special last night. 60% chance of a bye for Boise.
Yeah, and BYU, I think everybody predicted it. Watch Kansas, man. Kansas still got Colorado.
You called it. You called it. You called Kansas.
Did I tell you? I told you to watch the Kansas game.
It.
Not only BYU couldn't cover, I mean, Kansas won outright, right?
Yep.
So my first takeaway from this is I can't believe Georgia and the disrespect that continues to go on with them. Like, you beat Texas, and now there's 7 spots in between. I still can't believe that. They beat
what
Tennessee.
more you want them to do? Seriously, you beat Tennessee handily. Like, they dominated that game. They dominated Texas. Like, what more you want Georgia to do?
I agree, and that Ole Miss game plays a huge role, but this is a lot of this is the eye test, right? Miami hasn't beaten anybody. Penn State hasn't beaten anybody. Indiana hasn't beaten anybody, right? And a lot of people and I'm one of them saying, okay, all this will sort out by December. The whole issue right now is, if you're not going to win your conference, is making sure you have a home game. That plays a critical role. You want to get in that space of 5 through 8. And with Georgia on the outside right now, that's killer for them. Now it'll sort out. We'll learn a hell of a lot about Indiana and Ohio State this coming weekend. We'll learn a hell of a lot about Texas A&M next weekend. We'll learn a hell of a lot about Notre Dame. These are teams in front of Georgia. But I think Georgia and where they're at, if you go with the eye test, right, and the quality of wins, you play a role in losses, but quality of wins and what you see from Georgia, I think if we had a neutral site, Georgia versus Penn State, Georgia would be favored. Georgia versus Indiana, Georgia would be favored. Georgia versus Miami, Georgia would be favored, right? So those are the things that I found most fascinating about it. Now, Miami, I need to learn a hell of a lot more.
What's there to learn? They're not good.
They're not. Their coach is not that great.
Georgia Tech exposed them. That should have been it for Miami. Big red X.
Well, and maybe SMU will do that to them. Maybe SMU will do that. And think about this when we talk about SMU's only loss was the BYU.
Yeah.
And Boise's only loss was a close one to Oregon. So all that stuff plays a role here. All of it. So keep all that in mind when you look at context and conversation. But it'll sort out. I hope it sorts out. You know who's quietly sitting there and they don't even have to play in a conference championship game? Penn State. Penn State's quietly sitting there and saying, well, we don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, we just got to win our remaining schedule and we're in.
Here's the problem, though. Like, you knew they're a playoff team, but I got no faith in that squad. Against good teams, I got no faith that Penn State's going to go in and be, like you said it. Like, is Penn State going to beat Georgia? I don't think so.
No, they're not. And they don't have any playmakers on the outside. They legit don't have any playmakers.
No.
And you need one game breaker. You finally got the quarterback with the arm.
Yeah.
You finally got an incredible tight end.
It's not like they didn't have receivers in the past, right? You had all those receivers, and now you got none. Your best receiver is a tight end.
I just don't get it. I don't get how they can't develop a wide receiver over the last 3 years, like an impact guy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, when you said you got an Aller, you finally got a kid with an arm. You know what's interesting is that Indiana-Ohio State game, because I don't know how to read it, right? Indiana had a little trouble with Michigan, which I was a little disappointed by. Can they beat Ohio State? I mean, I'm kind of like on the doubts, but curious what you think.
I think they can because I think the coaches, Signetti's really, really good. I don't think they will because Ohio State has so many options.
Yeah.
And you know what killed Indiana, they took a 17-3 lead in the first half. And what killed Indiana in the second half was Michigan's defense, and then Michigan basically played keep away.
Yes.
And Indiana, I think, had at one point only 14 plays in the second half offensively. Ohio State can put together a drive that's 8-10 minutes, run Travion, you run Quinshawn, and then you throw the ball. Like they can take the ball out of Curtis Rourke's hands and some of the playmakers that Indiana has, and they could just do whatever they want long drive wise. Now, question is, will Ohio State get too cute? Will they try to do too much of something, which I don't think Chip will. I think Chip will figure out what we got to do. And so I actually think that this is going to be I haven't even seen the points, but I would think that they win by more than a touchdown, Ohio State.
Yeah, could you see on the Bet Parks app what the line is for that game? The team, I brought this up to you last week, but the team that's lurking, the Irish. The Irish are lurking. They're playing good football, man.
They're playing really good football. I was texting with Marcus Freeman this week, and I said one of the things that really stands out is you haven't let your foot off the pedal, no matter what. Like, ever since Northern Illinois, they have scored at least 28 points in every single game. And I said, that's what's standing out to me. You have your team is actually getting better. Like, Virginia could have been a trap game because you got Army next, right? Virginia could have been, and they just sat there and they're like, we are going to and hit you nonstop. And they've got to do that against Army. So I'll be curious to see how Army handles what Notre Dame has. They can run the football really well. That is the Irish, and they have options. So I really like Notre Dame, and they win this game. I know they got USC, but Notre Dame's going to be hosting a playoff game, which is pretty amazing. And I think if you saw it on the graphic that they did last night, I think Notre Dame would potentially host Alabama right now.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is unbelievable. Like,
your head explodes. Yeah.
And then the way it was set up, like it's actually set up really well for Ohio State, because then they would potentially first round they got Boise.
Yeah.
On the blue turf.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That wouldn't be on the blue turf. That would be on a neutral site. But that's pretty cool.
No, but you're right. The thing with Notre Dame is I love their defense. I'm curious about, if it travels, and I think it does against really good teams. So I'd be anxious to see how they would play Alabama. My only fear with the Irish is, are they explosive enough on the outside down the field?
You're 100% right, and that's been the biggest question, right? The OC used to be the OC at LSU last year, right? Yeah. So it's been like a process with Riley Leonard on getting on the same page. Bo Collins, former Clemson wide receiver. You're right. They're going to keep things close with their defense. They're like three of their guys I was with in the offseason. They came back. They could have gone to play on Sundays. They came back because they felt like this was the year. They came back with a singular purpose of getting in the playoff and making some noise in the postseason. That defense is going to keep them in game. It's a question of, can Riley Leonard throw the ball 20 yards or more down the field? Can he stretch it a little bit? I think he's growing into the position with the new OC, and they've figured some things out. But we'll get a big test here and how they handle, the physicality of Army, because guess what? Army, I just talked about Ohio State holding on to the football. Army had a drive last week or 2 weeks ago that was 14 minutes long.
Oh, man.
It was one play against North Texas, and it was 14 minutes long. And all they did was 3-yard run, quarterback, 5-yard run, quarterback, 3-yard run, running back. And that's all they did.
Yeah.
And Bryson Daly's so good for Army. He's the quarterback there. He does literally every single thing. If he were to pull off an upset, that would be an incredible storyline.
Yeah, it really would be. Listen, there's no, I'll tell you, there's no more prideful that I get on Saturday nights when they go to you. Let's go to Kevin Negandhi in the studio, Kevin and Booger. And it's the greatest. Like, I got buddies of mine, but Boo, Tooch, like, they're like, oh, he's our boy. Like, it's the greatest, man. You just kill him.
We have fun, man. Boog and I have a blast, and our numbers the ABC numbers have been insane.
Awesome.
We won the whole weekend.
Product. The show is great. You guys are great talking about it, going around. I mean, it's great. It's great stuff, man. I can't get enough of it. Love it.
Appreciate that.
Love you, brother. You're the best.
Fellas, be good.
The great Kevin Negandhi.
Spread's 13 on that game.
Ohio State's 13?
Yeah.
Oof. Oof. That's a lot of points, dude. For Signetti and the Indiana Hoosiers. You know, Joe Buck went to Indiana.
Oh, yeah, he's a Hoosier.
So it's a running gag on Monday nights. Troy Aikman's like, what about our Hoosiers? He's been saying it every week. That's the kind of loser I am. I watch every second of those games.
Who does Aikman claim? Oklahoma or UCLA?
No, he's on the Indiana train with Joe Buck.
No, but I'm talking about.
I don't know. He never
talks about his school.
Nah, but he's on that train.
He's on the Hoosiers train. Would have thought Indiana would have been a football school in 2024.
That coach is awesome. Like he believes.
I like his leadership segments there.
All right, let's talk about some of our friends. Parks Casino. Tell you about the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. Let's talk about for a second as we talk to and we get our man Baldini up here. How about it? We're going to be there tonight. Cousins Corner.
Yeah,
Park
man.
Casino.
Cousins Corner.
We got a lot
You might
going
have to
on.
pop up there, maybe play a little slots while you guys
Bamboo noodles.
So how you do it?
Maybe.
In fact, I know that my man Baldini's talking about doing a big party up there for the holidays.
Yeah, that sounds
We're
nice.
going to all our listeners, have everybody hang out.
The Noodle
Do a fun.
House.
Do a Parks night. Well, the beer garden is awesome.
The beer garden as
Yeah,
well,
it is.
yeah.
We're going to have some fun. And, of course, all the slots. You can play his Peaky Blinders, Breaking Bad. Got a lot of Walter Whites. Right? Rocky.
Yeah.
I got Buckus. Cuffin Link. I wonder if the Cuffin Link's on there. I have Buckus. Buckus. I got 3 Buckuses.
Buckus.
Every weekend, this is a cool thing. Make sure you download the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app because they do the double the spread boosts on one of the games, right? So they'll take a dog and they'll double the spread and you can bet it. It's perfect. All right. Check the Bet Parks app every Friday afternoon for that weekend's double the spread game. Sixers 3-point road favorites in Memphis.
And I was walking in Memphis.
Yeah. Birds 3-point road favorites in LA. Sunday night football.
Fly guys tonight. I like them tonight.
Against the Carolina Canes.
Yeah, man.
Or Brindy.
Coming off that loss.
Yeah, but they played Carolina tough down there, remember?
Plus 180 they are, the Fly
What was
guys.
that game? That game was overtime, wasn't it? If I'm mistaken? They took the Canes in overtime.
Think so?
They shut down
Nikas got the game
Ahu.
winner.
They did. Ahu.
Ahu?
Yeah.
No, Ahu.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Fits that Brindy style.
Yeah. No, that's good. Great
Yeah, it
game.
is.
Good game tonight, man. All right, listen. All the stuff at the Bet Parks app, your flyers, like he said, anything you want. In fact, new customers, if you download the app and you're down in the first 24 hours, you get up to $1,000 casino bonus back. So check it out. BetParks.com has all the details. Got to be 21. You got to be PA, New Jersey, Maryland, Ohio, Michigan. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And give a shout out to our friends over at TrueMark Financial Credit Union. You know, if you're going to place your money somewhere, place it in a credit union, not one of those big banks where you're just a number. There's some digits on a spreadsheet. These credit unions, they treat you like family, and they actually kick some of the profits back to you and keep the fees at a minimum. So you get better rates. Like I said, you get lower fees, better return on your savings, and way more flexible options. And they got all those same digital tools. They got apps. They got the website that works. So you're not missing out on anything on the tech side either. TrueMark has local roots. They're headquartered in Fort Washington with 24 branches throughout our area. They serve our community and our people right here, and they're fans of all our sports teams. And becoming a member of Credit Union, so many more benefits over being a customer in a bank. It's basically a no-brainer. So head over to truemark.com/PHLY to learn more or find a branch near you. That's truemark.com/PHLY, federally insured by the NCUA.
Thank you, VG. Thank you, VG. This portion of the show brought to you by Rite Aid, riteaid.com, your neighborhood pharmacy. Check out the one nearest you. Scripts, flu shots, whatever you need, paper plates.
I just popped in to see Ruthie. I saw Ruthie last night.
Did you? She's a sweetheart. Yeah, she's a doll.
Yeah, they hire great people.
Mike Anthony just texted me.
Oh, no.
His wrestling practice starts Monday.
He's wrestling?
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, I don't know anything about wrestling.
I was about to say,
Right.
I figured he'd be in the ball.
Yeah, no.
Hoops.
Yeah, but
It gets you in great shape, wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
a lot of football. First of all, it's a great sport. People love it, and it does. He's doing it for football.
It's a lot of running.
He's
Way more running than you think.
He's doing it for football, right? So he's like, Daddy, I'd never wrestled, but I want to try. He's real strong. Like he's been lifting like a nut because he's trying to get, he's trying to get bigger. He weighed himself the other day, and he was like, Daddy, I'm 190. And he was,
dude.
He has a lifting. They do a lifting like class, right, every day. So he did his max, and he goes, Daddy, I'm squatting like 380, right?
Dude, what?
Like I'm doing. He's got his bench up to 180. And I was like, that he's working out. Well, I'm like, good man, killing it. And like he got on the scale, and he was like 191, and he was like pumped up.
Is that? I haven't hung out in the wrestling. Is that one of the heavy? Is that a heavyweight?
Well, I don't know how that's going to work because he's never wrestled, and those dudes are beasts, right? So I was like, dude, listen, go enjoy yourself. The coach is not going to put you out there, in a spot where, you're not going to succeed. Like maybe you're just working out with those guys, and you're practicing. You see where you're at.
Right.
But I'm like, dude, the one thing we won't do is cut weight because I don't want to
run around trash bags.
I don't want it to be football. No, because for football, he's got to be fast but big.
Yeah,
and lean.
So we'll see.
Make sure he wears the headgear. We don't want no cauliflower ears.
I don't know. I'd be interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
Soon, Cousins breakdowns will be some wrestling.
I don't know anything about it. Right?
Cousins will be here.
I admire the sport. The wrestlers are always like. I mean, they're great dudes. Like they were tough kids, man. So, but it always, to me, it's good for. I said, dude, you do it for football.
Yeah.
Kids
just always do that in the winter. Either they would wrestle or they would, or the winter track too was another option, but basketball too was either the one of those three.
Moss will play basketball while I'm coaching. So
that's right.
Moss not wrestling.
No, Moss is not. Moss is
a point guard now.
He's a quarterback.
Hell yeah.
He's a pitcher. He's a point guard.
That's right.
Right. Ant is a beast. He's a linebacker. Defensive end.
You got the best of both worlds, right? Those kids, man.
He is that's what he is. He's a grunt.
Moss not getting a singlet and on the ground grappling.
No, he's not doing that. No, he's not. No.
That's awesome.
All right. We got our man. Let's take a little break from all the Embiid drama and talk some fantasy football. All right. Our man, DFS Army, the Sharp app. It's our buddy, Geekus Aurelius. Good morning, Geek. How are you, buddy?
Hey, good morning, cuz. Good morning, fellas.
What's up, Hornet?
I love that your son is wrestling, cuz I tell everybody it's important to learn that skill. Wrestling is the greatest skill to learn.
Really?
It's a life skill.
You were back in the day?
No, it's my biggest regret. It's my biggest regret. I should have wrestled in high school. I think about it even now. I think about it all the time. How did I not do the Yes, I think about it. Should have done it. It's a great skill to learn. And your son's gonna love it. Not just that, you take it with you for your whole life. It is a skill that you just need to be taught. Every boy should learn to wrestle. That's cool. Something that should be taught. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
and girl.
Listen, he wants to do it for you. He heard that all it helps you football. So he's all in on football. So it's a great skill to have. Yeah. Great, learn that movement, and especially linemen. You're a lineman. You got to know how to wrestle.
That's right.
Think about playing the line. It's a lot of shifting weight and movements that can control your opponent through their body weight and their movements. It's great for football. It's great for
blocks,
it's a wonderful skill.
Listen, you play a lot because he really is to me a profile more as a linebacker, and he shedding blocks. I talk about it all the time. Shed and attack. You got to shed, man. And so wrestling will help him do that.
Yeah, it's a great skill to learn. I just recommend it to all my all my kids, my friends' kids. Cool, man. Yeah, really important. Like Love it.
All right, what's good in the fantasy world? What kind of advice do you have for everybody?
Well, here we go. It's week 12, right? So we are in the. How fast does the?
Oh,
it's crazy.
Cry. I love it.
It's crazy to think about.
Truly enjoying life is football.
Football season ends, and I'm just waiting for the next one to start.
I know.
That's just how it goes. We're ready week 12. How does it pass so fast? So if you're in a fantasy league, your playoffs start on week 15 or week 16 this year. So your last game, actually, no, it would start week 15. So you have 12, 13, and 14 left. So again, I always talk about it. This is, for most people, going to be the last week that you can make a trade. And I'm in leagues like this. If you're 5-6 right now, you're probably on the cusp. There's other teams that are 5-6. This is the time to talk to those teams and figure out, all right, listen, you've got an extra wide receiver on your bench and you're having a problem here. You've got to look at the other teams in your league at this point. This is where the best players are studying their opponents. I'm figuring out what their needs are, and I'm trying to slightly win a trade or give a mutually beneficial trade that will work for both of those teams. So it's really important to study every team in your league. Most people don't do this. This is why it's very important to do. Most people just offer trades. Oh, I need a running back. Well, you just offered a trade to a guy who only has 2 running backs. Why is he giving you one? What are you, crazy? He's not going to do that. You've got to look, and you have to spend the time to look at each team and go, oh, wow, this guy he's playing Tyrone Tracy on the bench. I'll take that guy. He's okay. Oh, he needs a wide receiver. I've got an extra guy. Let me do this. You've got to go all out. I'm in a team right now where I have 2 running backs on bye. I have no choice. In a case like that, and I can't lose a week, I'm 5-6, I'm taking Bijan Robinson, who's on bye this week, and I'm using the name value to swap him for Kenny Walker, who you might think is a lesser player. Doesn't matter. If I lose this week, I'm done. So I'm doing that. I'm tempting the other guy.
That's a great way to look at it. That's why you're geekish, man.
Well, in DFS, I'll give you a DFS analogy, and then I have a big announcement, Cuz. But just for the Cuz Gargano radio show, just for the show, I have a big announcement. I brought this for you. But in DFS, you have something called late swap, right, where you can change around your lineup after the first half of games. Most people don't use it; they just give up. So if your team starts off a little bit weird on the negative side, maybe you have these high-owned sort of what we call chalk in DFS, which means very obvious plays that everybody's playing. Those don't help you if you start off kind of weak. Those guys, everybody else has those guys, and we know who everybody's playing. So in DFS, the example is you just swap them out. It's like, all right, this lineup is going to be toast if I let it go. So now I'm making swaps and understanding, yeah, I love player X. He's in a great spot and everybody's playing Christian McCaffrey. But I'm going to switch to, some other guy who's similarly priced, but like Derrick Henry, but maybe we didn't like the matchup as much. And Derrick Henry can go crazy. Like, you don't know. So that's what we do in DFS. Same thing in your fantasy league. Shouldn't give up. A lot of people just give up. I have 5 guys on bye. I'm done. No. If you lose this week, you're out. So make some swaps, make some changes, study your leagues, the teams, and find out their need. I would say 40% of success in fantasy football is just the ability to make deals with other teams in your league and understanding, hey, you need this, I need that, and being really good at deal making.
That's awesome.
Which is why, Cuz, I got a big announcement.
What do you got?
I'm throwing my name in the hat. I've had the discussion with my family. I'm throwing my name in the hat for GM of the New York Jets. Tag me in, Woody. It's time. Why not have a fantasy football man? They've tried everything.
That would be awesome. For you, you would be a great GM for the Jets.
I've got the analytics. I've got the computers.
Yes.
I've got the basement cave.
Man, that would be a great story.
Do the work.
It will put you in the back page of the Post.
Talk about experience.
Here's the Hornet. The Hornet's coming in, man. It'll be fabulous. Right on the back page of the Post.
Why not? Why not? I've been managing dynasty leagues for a while, 10 years. I got 15 years of dynasty fantasy football experience. What better than that?
Kevin,
I make trade.
let me ask you a question.
I'm smart.
What qualifies you as a GM right here in New York?
Why not me? I'm smart.
Yeah. I love it. I
prepped this before the show just for you. The part at the end there, especially.
You're the best. All right, well, who do you like this week, position by position? And you got my vote of confidence for you as GM.
There's one vote. I love it. You know who my guy is this week? I wanted to say Tommy Cutlets.
Oh my God.
How about the Giants? What a joke. They gotta go. The Cowboys and the Giants are the laughing stock of the NFL. They got Cutlets going.
What about Trey Lance? Let's get him in the game. You know, it's time. Come on, what are we doing?
Versus Trey Lance will happen later in the year.
We need this. I need that like I need a cup of coffee.
Broccoli raw.
You know, all right. So getting into this week, flip side of that game, I'm excited about Baker Mayfield getting Mike Evans back. You know that's going bananas this week. The Mayfield to Evans stack. If you have Mike Evans, you've been waiting to unleash him, and then you get him with no Godwin to mess things up. Godwin was in there messing it all up in the first half of the season. None of that. It's all Mike Evans this week and Baker. I love that combo. You know, you got Brock Purdy in a nice game against the Packers. That's a close matchup.
Yeah.
49ers Packers. Is it a NFC championship or I don't know, not quite championship, but potential
Lions,
NFC.
Eagles,
Yeah, the Lions
championship.
the Lions
Eagles.
are that.
Yeah.
I'm not. Oh, I love it. The Eagles, the confidence.
Yeah,
I think so.
By
the way,
defense is legit.
The turnaround of that defense. The first 3 weeks, they couldn't figure it out.
Jets reference. My man termed it the other day. Fan genius.
Yes.
Vic Fan genius. Fangio.
There it is.
Yeah.
Fangio. Yeah. He, you know, it's a complicated defense that he runs.
Yeah.
And it took him a few weeks to get it. But that team turned it around and they have been nasty. I love it. I love what's going on with the Eagles right now. And you're right. I think they might be that second team to compete with the Lions in the NFC. That I'm seeing flaws on a lot of the other teams. So I love it. But yeah, that Packers-San Francisco game, very exciting. I like both sides of it. On the San Francisco side, Juwan Jennings, a star is born.
Yeah.
As it turns out, they didn't miss Ayuk at all.
Yeah, he's played
They
well.
didn't miss a beat. He's playing
role.
really. Yeah, he might be. Yeah, he's looking really
played
good.
that role, and then you know Pearsall's come in and play kind of his role, like which is kind of helped them out a little bit. I don't buy the Niners though defensively. I don't as part of like coming as being a true NFC power. I don't buy them defense. I don't think they have the same teeth.
They haven't been good. They haven't been great this season defensively at all. They've just been okay, and their superpower was the defense, but their offense remains elite. So as long as McCaffrey's going to be healthy, you know, they're going to be a challenging team, obviously, to get through. Yeah, that NFC. All right, so jumping through some more of these spots, my favorite running back of the entire weekend slate is going to be Devon Achane in that game against the Patriots. Achane has done things that are just unheard of on low touch counts, 15 touches, 14, 16 touches per game. His fantasy points per touch is through the roof. Like he did this last season, and we said it's impossible for a player to keep that going. You know, it's statistically impossible. He's kept it going. He's basically young Christian McCaffrey at this point in terms of the way he's being used and the fantasy production that he's doing. And Christian McCaffrey's old Christian McCaffrey right now. He's kind of looking like that. So we'll see if he turns that around as well with the arthritis and the arthritic ankles. You know, we're hoping for the best for CMC. He's one of my favorite all-time fantasy players. So those are a couple spots that I'm excited about. You know, again, I mentioned Mike Evans. Oh, it's Mike Evans week. I think a lot of people are going to be excited to play him at wide receiver, and that is the way to go. I'm thinking about Malik Neighbors. I think the Cutlets magic might happen, and Malik Neighbors might get 15 targets in that game. Can they do enough to produce a big fantasy score? You know, with a mediocre team, but against a bad defensive team. We love the Bucs for analytics purposes because the Bucs score really quickly, but their defense has been bottom of the barrel, especially against the pass this year. And so it's just this great team where they score and the other team answers and you produce fantasy magic. So I'm always looking for that.
I like it. We got anything for the geekus?
For flex, Alexander Madison or Tucker Kraft?
Ooh boy, you know that's I'm probably going with Madison there, but with minimal confidence. That's a rough flex play on a bye week.
All right, wide receivers, Downs or Smith and Jigba?
Oh, Jackson Smith and Jigba all day. I can't believe that's a question. JSN, by the way, breakout. He looks amazing.
Quarterback, Bo Nix or Russell Wilson?
Bo Nix. Bo Nix all day.
I think that's what I got.
Russell Wilson.
Sean
I do have a bet for you.
Guys, Bo Nix balling.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, Bo Nix is now a every week starter in fantasy. He has elevated to you play him every week levels. Love Bo Nix.
He's throwing beef, veal, and pork.
Yeah. Well, listen, he's out there in Denver. What are they doing? What's the specialty of Denver?
But
what do they eat out there?
that kid Veal's good.
Oh, Velo. Oh, Devon Vele.
Yeah, I like called Veal.
Devon. There it is. I'm like, wait, what? Is that a food out in Denver? What do they eat in Denver? I don't even know the cuisine.
Yeah, Vele
there we
is
go.
actually
Devon Vele.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton. That team looks really good. They are the surprise team of the
They had no
AFC
tight
right now.
end.
No, you're right. They had a guy that we thought was going to be something, and it didn't work out. And now I think they're rolling Troutman out there, which is not,
Well, it's
that's
amazing.
a blocker.
Like Peyton just wins. Like, he's just a great coach. It's unbelievable.
Really impressive.
Harbaugh wins. Look what he's all of a sudden Herbert is back.
Yeah.
And that's because of Harbaugh.
Last couple weeks, Herbert got the swag back.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a swagger. I loved it. Love seeing that too.
It's Harbaugh.
Coaching.
It's
Harbaugh ball.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You know who needs to fire the whole staff, cuz? The Bears. It's time.
Oh, yeah.
They got to go full Jets over there and fire everyone. It's enough.
Yeah.
It's enough with those guys.
Yeah, Eberflus got to go. Yeah, I've been
the whole thing.
You want to talk about this being snake pit in Chicago. You have the number one pick, you get Caleb. You finally got your quarterback. And Jay Daniels better. And
right, every time they draft a quarterback,
everybody else is better.
It's unbelievable how that just plays out. It's crazy.
Knicks. Look, I have a bet for you for tonight. You're at the I know you're going to Cuz's Corner. You're going to be at Parks.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to go to the window.
Okay.
We're going to bet Jameis Winston. We're gonna pizza bet it too. We're gonna Jameis Winston over 1 interception. And then we're going to do a pizza bet on Jameis Winston over 1.5 interceptions because he's a pick six machine against the Steelers tonight. And it's coming. So Jameis Winston.
I love Cleveland in that game.
Oh, could they win the game? Not without some picks. There's no way Jameis is getting through this one without throwing one to the other.
I like your mentality. I can totally see it.
Low scoring game.
I think this game sets up as a Browns shock the world piece.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Low scoring defensive battle. Neither team can score. Field goals all over the place. Russell Wilson under 1.5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
The other bet.
I can see that. Yeah, I can totally see that. I like it. Sharp app is where you got to be.
Oh, yeah.
And follow the geek. You got it.
At F Football Geek on Twitter. If you have fantasy sit start questions, any of that stuff, and occasionally I post a bet or whatever at F Football Geek on Twitter. I do answer when people hit me up. So I love to get the messages, and always from the Anthony Gargano radio show fans. They are out there, and we always answer those calls. They call me Geekus.
And we see you on TV. Like you could. What kind of cable do you have at home? You have cable?
I have streams of everything.
Yeah,
only
Comcast.
streams.
If you say play PHLY in your remote, show comes up. It's pretty cool.
Beautiful.
Geekus, we love you, buddy. Thanks, pal.
Thanks, guys.
Geekus Aurelius, the Hornet. Give me that Hornet. It's the Hornet.
I love the Hornet. Hey, by the way, in the chat, Chuck from West Philly says, "What's up,
Chuck? Oh, hermano, what's happening, Chucky?
Little Ant needs a Ric Flair robe."
I love it.
Hilarious.
You got a back in the day with Rite Aid. You got it.
We're going back. We're going back. We're going back in the day. with Rite Aid. Yeah!
All right, this one's going to be a quick one. I know everyone's got Joel Embiid on the mind still, so I kind of wanted to look back at the Joel Embiid tenure. I want to go back to October 19, 2021, because this is the height of where I felt the city had Joel Embiid's back. And it's crazy how we have fallen since then. So I want to go back to the Ben Simmons situation.
At this point, I don't care about that man, honestly. He does whatever he wants. You know, that's not my job. You know, that's those guys' jobs. You know, I'm only focused on trying to make the team better, win some games, you know, play hard every night, try to lead, you know, the guys that we have here. And I'm sure they feel the same way because, you know, our chemistry has been excellent despite, you know, everything that's been happening.
I got one last thing to say on the way out. Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so, Joe.
That's your back in the day moment.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for us. Have a wonderful day. We love you. We'll see you in the morning.
We all silly like the mayor.